Hey, and welcome to Map 2 of Duke Nukem 3D, Red Light District. So, we're going to take down this flying pig cop here, and one of the things that I love about the opening to this level, and this whole level in general really, is that this feels very much like the same area that we were in the last level. Now, that sounds like a really obvious thing, but some of these boomer shooters, like Duke Nukem 3D, like Doom, sometimes they don't manage to make these episodes feel like they're in the same locale. Like, levels just feel very different between each other. So it's actually quite nice that when you come into this area, it feels pretty much like you're 2 streets over from where you were in the last level. So you can see there's a lot of these flying pig cops floating around. We want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to boot our way through to the wall here. There's a secret compartment with pipe bombs in. You can see the pipe bombs make short work of the enemies here. So you can see we also blew out the lights in that room. Something I really like about Duke Nukem 3D is the fact that the environments can be destroyed to a certain degree if there's certain things happening in them. Oh, wow, okay. Nearly died there because there's a pig cop behind me here. I love how you can see their eyes as well in the shadows. Like, you can definitely tell they're a menacing presence. We're not going to talk about what's on the screen there. Use your imagination. Like, right there, she is just pumping gas. Yeah, pumping gas, that's it. So let's take care of these enemies. We really don't want to ask what they're doing in here. We're just going to shoot that because... yeah. So we're going to blow the wall up here. We can go into the toilet. We could have just gone in the door, but, you know, why do that? We're Duke Nukem. Just wanted to show you that, yes, you can drink out of the toilet. So Duke Nukem, man of the ladies with toilet breath. So you can see this is like an adult bookstore, and we've got a load of enemies out here that we need to take care of. If we don't take care of these guys, they're only going to cause me problems later on, so best thing for us to do is to just get rid of them. I love how that flying pig cop there was locked by the one on the ground. Yeah.
Hail to the king, baby.
So an interesting quirk of this level we're about to see, we need to blow that building up there, the green one that we just saw. But if you kind of pop around here, you're supposed to bring the blue key in and then open this up and do the switch puzzle. But you don't actually need to do that, as you can see. You can actually activate that by just hitting the wall on the other side, but we'll talk about that later. The switch puzzle there is not too difficult. That's actually kind of your introduction to switch puzzles in this game. This level really likes to make use of them because there's 2 in this level, and yeah. There's a whole secret area down here. You have to be careful because there are enemies in the shadows, which is obviously not what you want to be fighting. Cool, so we'll take down the pig cop there. See, it can be a bit difficult without the night vision goggles here. If you bring all your items from the first level, it's a lot easier to navigate that part. You can see this is kind of like a little apartment building. So we hit this, and in a lovely sign, the aliens have constructed Duke Nukem must die. So we're going to try and avoid that. So here we get the chain gun. Now, the chain gun is actually a really cool weapon in my opinion. It's probably my favourite Duke Nukem 3D weapon. So we're going to be making good use of the rip gun. I think it's called the Ripper. You see, if you click the back wall there, you can bring down the building, and there was a puzzle there. You just have to hit the 2 middle ones. I was just showing you that, yeah, that's the solution. If you've never played this, well, there you go. Now you know how to. So another thing I like about Duke Nukem is that sometimes you'll see manhole covers like this, and that indicates a secret. So there's a lady trapped down here. Not much we can really do for her. So there's... Now, I'm not sure of the official name for them. I just call them the squids. But I know that they are... I'll learn their name properly when they start showing up in these levels. but they're kind of like a pain in the ass because they can float after you, they can shoot like those beams at you, and they can also make weird noises that get into Duke Nukem's head directly. So yeah, we'll have a quick look up here just so you can see what the whole level looks like. No, Duke, we're not going to let you die. So in Duke Nukem 3D, it is possible to die from fall damage. So this is kind of like a nightclub kind of area. At least that's my read on this situation. So that's like the introduction area. It's got a bar, it's got a nightclub area. It's very seedy, very much in line with the rest of the level. And what else would you expect in a place called the Red Light District? So we'll shoot all these monsters. There's a wall behind that toilet that opens up into the sewer, so we're not going to deal with that because we've already been there and there's nothing too exciting going on down there. But you can see that's the introduction as well to the ventilation shafts. Those will become very important as we head through the levels. You can also interact with this pool table here, although quite why you'd want to for more than 10 seconds is beyond me because it's pretty awful. As you saw, yellow ball's gone. You can shoot the balls if you really want to. One thing I love about the world of Duke Nukem 3D is just how interactive everything is. There's so much you can kind of click around and find. So this is like a little bar area. You can see we've made a mess already. When we step into the middle part there, 3 pig cops are going to show up over there. We need to get rid of those. That's an ambush for when you're trying to grab the red key. We'll take care of this one here because why not? So something I love about Duke Nukem 3D, if you shoot the women, you'll usually trigger more enemies to show up. There's the O.J. Simpson chase. Now as a kid, I actually got stuck here for a day. I didn't realise, because obviously when I played Doom so much as a kid, I didn't realise that you could actually crouch in this game, and it took me about a day to figure out that that was actually something you could do in Duke Nukem 3D, because I got very frustrated because obviously in Doom you can't do that. And in Doom you don't get rooms like this either. This is a titty bar, or a place where the ladies come to do their morning stretches, shall we say. As you can see, the ladies are showing up in numbers.
Shake it, baby.
There's your
Shake it, baby.
mandatory, you know what. But here's the thing, as I mentioned earlier, if you sort of go rogue and just start shooting the dancers, the aliens actually get really pissed off at you and start showing up to, well, rearrange your face. So I find this interesting that you get to this part of the game here, and then like you've got to come into this ventilation shaft here, even though it's marked as a secret. You can use the pig cop's heads there to jump up here, basically negating the need to actually like do anything. If you do choose to stay down there, there's a bunch of pig cops that will appear on the other side of the curtain and they'll sort of ambush you. There's quite a lot of ambushes in this level, so it's something you've got to kind of keep in mind. But again, I love how this feels like a fully fleshed out area, and it just feels like there's a lot of like little businesses here. It feels like a proper like establishment area. It's fun. It's actually really fun in my opinion, this level, and a very, very cool follow-up to Hollywood Holocaust. You can get that night vision over there, but to be honest, there's not much point because you're probably going to lose all your weapons in a second. So we'll get the final one there. There's a secret med pack here. Now, once you step over the line there, a cage is going to come up and we're going to get trapped. Now, I always like to see if I can outpace this thing by doing that. So, technically, you're supposed to go in there, get caught, and then that leads into the start of the next level. But obviously, as you can see, we escaped. So, in this universe, Duke Nukem does not get captured. But we're now going to take a look at the N64 version of this level, and I have to say there's quite a lot of changes to this, although not in the way you're probably expecting, and you can see one of them right there in front of us. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be using the weapons I brought in from the first level.
My day.
You can see that there's a fully formed like area outside of the level, so this actually again feels like the first level in that there's an area just outside of the map, and it feels like a proper city block. Now you can see this isn't an adult bookstore this time. This is actually just a gun store. Now, I kind of have to ask the question, if they changed it from an adult bookstore to a gun store, is there really much of a difference? Like, maybe it's just because I'm from the UK, but like, both of them just seem kind of like on the same level as each other. But it's Nintendo's console, and you know, it's their party. But you can see that the changes pretty much extend to the fact that there's now gun counters, but they haven't really changed all this over here, which is nice. So we can still get pipe bombs from in here.
Who wants some?
So you can see, for all intents and purposes, the level is kind of the same as it was before. The controls are so rough in this version. Like, I keep accidentally... Oh, well, they've changed that, haven't they? Definitely. She's wearing way more clothes than, you know, you'd expect in an establishment like this. Like, they couldn't find a reason to repurpose these little viewing booths, so they just kind of like redid the things in a less like smutty way, which I kind of appreciate. Like, they just kind of went, who cares? But you can see this leads to the same place that, you know, we were in earlier. It's the toilet. I always make my dukes drink from the toilet. It keeps them humble. But yes, so other than like a bit of a texture job, this functionally is the same building. It's just treated as a different building, which, you know, I can get behind, because this was Nintendo of the 90s. You know, they weren't going to let those smutty adult bookstores into their games. Now, a gun store, totally. So I'm going to grab the atomic elf here. There we go. There's the elevator. Oh. Somehow managed to fall off the elevator there. Interesting. So again, this room is pretty functionally the same, although you're going to see now, in this version of the game, we don't get the Ripper. We get 2 SMGs, which, interesting. I mean, again, functionally the same as what it's replacing, but I have to say, like, I'm not a fan of these compared to the PC version. Wow, he's got a long way to come down. So we're going to go and take a quick peek in this area here. So this area is completely new for this version. It's actually a Duke burger. So you can kind of see that... Oh, wait, let's take care of him before we pop our heads into here, because I don't want him following me in. The aiming in this version does not do favours for anyone, let me tell you. So I'm going to use the pipe bomb to clear out this place. So what they've basically done here, that whole area, which was basically the bar with the whole adult area with the bar, with the pool table and all that, gone. It's basically just a Duke burger now, and that area kind of acts as like the behind the scenes bit for the employees, which I think is a really clever way of approaching it. And the fact that they've done like a front of house area here is actually pretty neat. This is kind of a bit of detail they didn't have to go into, but they clearly felt they wanted to. You can't go through that door right now. You can only come through from the other side. So we'll be heading around and grabbing that. door as soon as we can. So I want to get rid of the pig cop on the other side of this door, of this window. Don't want to get blown up by the grenade. So does this trick still work? It does. So as you can see, with the buildings behind it, it actually kind of looks like a proper demolition as well now. So I do like that detail of putting buildings outside of the area. It is actually quite a creative approach to the skybox. So what we're going to do here, we're going to head into the sewers just so I can show you what it's like. Just going to make sure I'm ready for this. Oh wow, that hurts fast. We're going to blow this thing up. Oh wow, oh god, that nearly blew up in my face, didn't it? I apologise for my awful controlling here. The controls for Duke Nukem 64 are not terribly great. Gonna see if I can work this item. If I can't, then I'll probably do a quick cut here, and then just, you know, when I get back to where we need to be. So let's see. Okay, so we use the jump button to go up. Right, you know what? We're just going to skip forward here because I'm not going to lie to you. I ended up getting stuck in the air and I had to wait for it to basically run out. But as you can see, the initial part here isn't even that bad. So it still very much feels like it did in the PC version. But once we step up and around this corner, things begin to sort of change ever so slightly. So there's an arcade machine there. This is still the toilet. So my explosion in the secret area earlier on blew the window up there, which is fine. So you can see here they've added in like a little play area. I assume this is just for like the staff and such. That's the intention, but it basically functions the same way, although this is even worse somehow. So good on the team that made this. What you will notice though is that instead of going up to the bar, we actually end up going down into the basement, and it kind of leads to this back room area, which is very much a fast food thing. So there's the fryers, there's the sort of cooking area over there. Again, I kind of like how they took the time here to think about how to repurpose this in a way that makes sense. And you can see we're on the other side of the restaurant. This is behind the cashier's window. So it's still got the same ambush with 3 pig cops coming in to get us.
Where is it?
There we go. So instead of having to duck down under the cash register, you actually just kind of find it in the cupboard, which I guess works. But what's really interesting here is that when we go through the red door in a second, they've done something really interesting with this area, because obviously they're not going to put a titty bar in this version of the game, and the way that they've gone about it I find really clever, because it kind of fits in with the theme that they've gone with, you know, this Duke burger. So instead of it being a nightclub, this ends up basically being a delivery area. So the layout's actually remarkably similar to the nightclub. Obviously that van being there changes things, but functionally this is just the same room, but with a bit more, you know, boxes and a big vehicle. I don't want to die. Please don't let me die here. But yeah, I kind of approve of this. And they even put in a little area there where like there's a road to go out. So they obviously took the time here to try and make this make sense, and you've got to give points for that, like, because it does fit in with the theme of the level that they were shooting for. They've turned this into a little office here. I don't know if I like the fact that the vent is still there, because it's actually quite hidden, and I can't imagine it's the easiest thing for people who've never played this game to find. But I digress. So what I do here, if I'm not going to use the heads to jump up, I always just throw pipe bombs out here. It's way easier to deal with all the pig cops if you take out the few that are sort of loitering around. So you see, there's still some here, but it's much more manageable now.
Let's rock.
But yeah, instead of pulling apart like they do in the PC version, we have gates that go up. Again, fan of this. I think it's really clever that they reinterpreted this room as this, and it kind of gives a completely different feeling to it. But at the same time, it is kind of faithful to what, you know, the level's trying to be. So we'll head round the corner here. We should be okay from here on out. I don't see the... Okay. We just got shot, so that may be a problem. Please don't let me die right at the end of the level here. It's also interesting that it's daytime. I think that's something that really changes the feel of these levels as well, because in the PC version, it's still very much nighttime when you're here. But here, in this version, it's daytime, and it kind of lends the levels a different feel. So I don't think we have the steroids, so we can't try and escape this now, even if we wanted to. See what I can do. No, gates come up pretty quickly. So yeah, this is what was supposed to happen in the PC version earlier on. But honestly speaking, I think Gun Crazy, which is what the name of this is, not Red Light District, is actually a pretty fun interpretation of the level, and actually has its own spin, which I really like. What did you think of Gun Crazy and the Red Light District? Which of them did you prefer? And thank you very much for watching.